Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And now, live, it's time!
I believe we are live once again for another Purge of the BS, a very special edition tonight. I had to bring on a very special guest tonight because I wanted to have a really good conversation, because I think a conversation is not being had. I think we might be missing out on a hidden gem that's known as the WNFC. So, before I get started, I want to make sure I got a live feed going here. We got at least one person on. We're going to get it started quickly, because I don't want to keep our guest on too long tonight. So I wanted to introduce to you guys, if you're not familiar, from the Washington Prodigy, we have Coach Floyd, also known as Coach Red, joining us for the evening to have a discussion about the League of Their Own that has been growing right under our noses, and I don't think it's been covered, and I think that's why we got to cover it tonight. Let's have a real conversation. Let's welcome Coach Red to the stage over here. Everybody give an applause, please.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
All right. Look, I'm not going to keep you all night. I know you're busy. You just got off the field, so I'm fortunate.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I'm fortunate to even be able to catch this little bit of your time. And just for anybody that's watching, I was actually in on the running back chant, like I was part of the thing. So I felt special. So I appreciate you doing that for me and doing this particular podcast for us. So I'm going to just kind of dive right in. Is that okay with you?
Let's get to it.
Well, so for people that are brand new to this whole idea of the WNFC, like what is the WNFC? I mean, what kind of football are we talking here?
So it's the Women's National Football Conference. Smash mouth football. You got helmets, shoulder pads, NCAA rules, and you got women that just want to play football. They want to take somebody's head off, just like any other sport. The competitive nature of the game, the women that come out to play, and it's something that you won't forget or you don't want to miss once you come out to a game. I can promise you that.
And just to get some background on it, how long has the Washington Prodigy been a national football team?
I believe this is the 8th year. I'm rolling in on the back end, coaching for the running backs. So I believe this is the 8th year for the Washington Prodigy. Last year was their first undefeated season. Went all the way to the championship to play against Texas, and we ended up coming up short, 21-19. Which, when you come up short that low of a deficit or that close of a game, it hurts a little bit more. It's like,
that one
maybe
play,
right? That one play, one play. Instead of having a huge deficit and, the team just didn't show up. But one of the most viewed games of the WNFC was the championship game. And it was a beautiful experience.
And, I did do some research. That was a definite feat as far as viewership. I think it was on ESPN2, right?
ESPN2. Also, they live streamed it on Victory Plus.
Okay.
So,
so is that the first time they've done that, or do they do that for all the championship games?
I believe for this one, this was the first time it was live streamed on ESPN2. And the Victory Plus is the standard. Where it gets streamed. It's a free app that you can download. You can stream the games on it live, and it's across the United States that the games are covered. It's kind of like having the NFL package. You can go watch each different state that you're in that has a registered team compete. Just like this weekend, we got a game we're preparing for, which is why I just got off the football field not too long ago.
Well, it sounds like you're a little hoarse. Were you yelling at the running backs?
It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Okay.
We just had a game against New Jersey on Saturday. So I'm regaining my voice from that. And then, this weather is getting crazy. And I got a naturally raspy voice, so it doesn't help. The yelling doesn't help the voice.
Well, in like historical terms, so how did you end up getting into the WNFC? Did you just stumble onto a field one day, or was that something that was a passion you were already working on?
So I played full contact football for the WFA, the Washington Football Alliance, with the DC Divas for 8 years. I was a running back for them. Coach Lamont Jordan, former NFL player, is the head coach. He was also my running back coach. Right. And when he got the opportunity to be the head coach for Washington Prodigy, he called me. The first thing he did was call me up and says, "Hey, I need a running back coach. What you trying to do?" And I was like, "Well, I'm coaching for George Mason right now. So if I can balance the schedule of coaching for George Mason and coaching for Prodigy, absolutely. Let me check with my husband real quick, make sure he gonna take up the helm take up the kids while I'm on 2 different fields during the week." And I got the green light, and that was all she wrote. So I've been at it for 2 years now.
Okay. Well, I've also seen some of the social media posts that they put up for a lot of the WNFC games, and just the quality level. Everybody, you guys are working with a really high quality level, so I'm very interested to see where this goes. And people are starting to follow the sport itself. So I said, let me find out. So I decided to check out a few clips, and I wanted to share one with the audience real quick because, like I said, some people just haven't seen. They just haven't seen. It really is one of those things. And you don't
know what you don't know.
Right. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you're missing, especially if you haven't had a chance to sample it. So I wanted to make sure that people got a chance to sample it. Let me see if I got this clip over here. I do. Hold on a second here. I got to share it with you, and I'm going to share it with them at the same time. Okay? Just bear with me a second.
Absolutely.
All right. Go to this one. Can you see the screen over here?
Yep, sure can.
I'm going to have to mute this because it has a industry song in it, but I like the cinematography. It's pretty cool. So it might be pretty low if you can hear it here. So this is the game you were talking about, the championship from last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of my running backs, Mimi, 7-year veteran.
Who's that, Jerome Bettis? She was running
that's
like the
Keena
bus.
Samuels.
Okay.
That's Keena Samuels. Yep, that's another running back. That was the play right there that killed it.
Oh, wow. That pick right there was nice, though. Was that a pick or that was a catch?
That one was double coverage, a catch. Yeah, that one was a double catch. Double coverage catch. Q-tip's good for going up for those.
So you still have all of the same members of the team from year to year, or do you change rosters every year, like totally overhaul, or you just add one or two pieces?
We add one or two pieces. We get some depth in more positions. You know, you got to imagine most of these women, when they start playing ball, some of them are starting in their mid to late 20s.
Right.
And they're playing for 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Some people never played football before, but the sport is taxing on the body. It's not just this. It's like, this is not all these women do. They have full-time jobs. You got police officers, first responders, you got teachers, engineers. So you go from working, we got a couple of wee-woos, like I like to call them, first responders that, like Keena Samuels, she's a police officer. So she works a 12-hour shift sometimes, gets a nap in, and now she got to come to practice.
Wow.
So occasionally,
sounds tough. I mean, like you even mentioned your own story. You had to, get the hubby to take over on certain things, and you have to change your entire life to really be dedicated to it, because it is a sport. And if you want to play sport well, you do have to be dedicated to it. So I gotta respect it. So let me ask you a couple more probing questions. I gotta ask you the hard questions.
Okay, let's go for it.
All right. Give me a second. All right. Let me go down my list over here. I got a list of the probing questions to be asked here. So just as a quick, like you said, we had the background. You said you played earlier. How do you prepare yourself to go from flag into a tackle situation? Because there is contact between both, but it's a different type.
It's a very difficult transition. It's difficult because you can't tackle, so your natural thing to just reach for a flag, to grab the flag. If you're a defensive player,
right.
you have to condition yourself to get your body angle to go through somebody to tackle them, to get to their legs, to wrap up. So it's not very easy to go from that. Not only that, you got to think, when you're in flag, you have full line of sight of the field.
Right.
When you're in tackle football, now you have your helmet that kind of eats up your peripheral vision. It kind of gives you sort of tunnel vision until you get used to manipulating your eyes and managing that window of space that you have. You also have shoulder pads on now. So the reach that you usually would be able to get, full extension, can you kind of get there if you work your way around it? Yeah, you could get your arms up there and catch. I mean, you saw it happen a couple of times. They get up in the air and they still catch that ball.
Right.
So do
you have like a process that you train people to have all that gear on that they're not used to wearing all that kind of stuff, and so that they can be more okay. I'm sure you have to go through a lot to prepare somebody for that, because there's not the like you had mentioned earlier when we were talking offline about how it's not really a preparation for it that kind of leads right up to it. It's like you kind of have to make that transfer from flag into tackle. And for some people, it's later in life. Like you said, some people are a little older, so that could hurt. So what's the hardest part about being a woman in football, like that people might not want to say? Just between us and the internet.
Just between us and the internet.
Yeah.
The hardest part is support. The hardest part is support. And the lack of pay. We're gonna rip the Band-Aid off on that one.
Okay.
The support, you like you said, it's starting to catch. We had a great fan base on the last home game against Texas, which was beautiful. But 9 times out of 10, most of the women that play this sport, it's very rare that you have brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, even spouses sometimes, kids showing up to the games to support. Because it's a pay-to-play league, sponsorship. Most of these players have to go out and get somebody to sponsor their player fees, which could be anywhere from $800. I mean, I don't know what other teams pay, and I'm not a player, so I don't know what the players pay now. But on average, it's anywhere from $900 to possibly $1,500 a season, because you pay for your own helmet, You pay for your own shoulder pads. You own all of it, uniforms and all. You take it with you. It ain't nobody else getting it on the back.
That's how you get your name on the back too, though.
That's how you get your name on the back.
Yeah.
Right. That's how you get your name on the back and you keep it.
Yep.
So that's the big thing. The lack of support, showing up to the home games. And it's not even just showing up to the home games. I got family in many of the states that we play in. So calling up my family like, hey, come out. Now I'm calling you to support the home team financially by, $15, $20 tickets. You pay more for that for a concert, and you ain't getting nothing but music.
Right.
But here you're getting energy and all that. So, and you can't tell people what to spend their money on. I'm a firm believer on that. Cool. But it is kind of disheartening to see your friends like, we go into this turn up, but you can't spare. It's 3 home games in the season. You can't spend 3 Saturdays out of the year to come for a kickoff, watch some football, grab a hot dog, grab a cheeseburger, and just watch some Smash Mouth football.
So even without the support of family, like you mentioned, last year's championship was aired on ESPN2. How did you guys snag that kind of support if we're not getting local support?
That is the magical work of the owner of the league. Odessa Jenkins puts in a lot of work to make sure that the league and women's football is put on a platform to be watched and to be understood and to be respected, to say, we are women that want to play football against other women. We want to compete against other women. We just want to play football. For all the girls that grew up with older brothers that, played football and pick up football, and the ones that didn't have older brothers, they just had friends and they just want to play ball. Created a league for that. And as you can tell, it ain't powder puff. These women have some hits that'll make you go, ooh, or some catches and some runs that will really have you on the edge of your seat. And it's really competitive. So ESPN2 Victory Plus, I believe, was the first big one to be live streamed for all the games. And you get highlights from all the games that are listed up there. ESPN2, got big contracts with Adidas. Adidas sponsors the entire league. So I've had to switch out of my Nike and my Under Armour, and I can only wear Adidas on the field. So now I got, my Adidas shoes and the sweatpants and everything.
That's what's up. Okay.
So there's big sponsors for the whole league, and then each team is responsible for getting as much sponsorship to help the team offset the travel costs and the player fees. And then it trickles down to the players to do the same, whether it's ticket sales or business connections.
So it's a true pay-to-play kind of situation. Does that
much out of pocket
mess with your like when you're making decisions as a coach as to who gets to stay in, who has to come out? Are you dealing with the fact that such and such paid their money and you want them to get as much playing time as the other person? Do you ever run into those conflicts?
Oh, that's the biggest conflict. The biggest thing on the field, it's you got to put in the work, right? If in my mind, I know when I was playing football, if I'm paying all this money, I'm going to work on my craft on the off season before the next season. I'm going to, whenever my number is called, I'm going to give it 100%. Now life happens. People have kids, people work schedules, you're tired, whatever have you. But when you step on that football field, you got to lock in. And I'm a firm believer in making sure you're safe. If you don't know what your alignment, assignment, and technique is when you get on that football field, you're a detriment as far as a running back goes. You're a detriment to your quarterback. You're a detriment to the line and anybody else that's lead blocking for you. Because you go the wrong way, they're thinking you're supposed to go a certain way. You end up colliding with somebody. You step on an ankle. You run into the back. You see it. It happens in the NFL too, especially when it comes to travel.
Right.
Because there's not a whole lot of sponsorship or as big a sponsorship as we should have in the DMV. There's untapped sponsorship here, but there's not a lot of traction for the WNFC in this area, or even the WFA for that matter. So we only have a small travel roster. So it breaks my heart sometimes when I'm like, I can only rock with these 2 fullbacks and these 2 halfbacks. And the other ones, if you're on special teams, then you can come on because now you're part of the travel roster. Now I can get you on the field because you traveled with another position group. But I have to make that depth chart. It does go from what you put in, what I see, what you give me in practice, and what you put out the game before. Can I trust you to do your job?
But it doesn't
And
come
I've
down
got
to the
weapons.
money situation. Like people don't come up to you like, I
Oh,
paid my money and.
yeah, if you don't, I mean, that's a team thing. If you don't have your dues paid up, you can't touch that field.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Sorry,
So let's
yeah.
say you got an all-star running back, and then you got a secondary running back who's not as good as the first. And the second running back wants to play as much as the first running back. Do you have to balance that, or is it an understanding that, look, we're just trying to win this game, and whoever's best on the field is best on the field? Or do you actually have to argue with people about whether or not they've played enough based on the fact that they paid to play in the first place?
I have to balance it. I have to balance it, and then I don't have the ultimate decision as a running back coach. I give my recommendations of who I want, how my depth chart works. At the end of the day, the head coach wants what the head coach wants, and he wants to win. So whatever that looks like for him, I got to rock with it. I have my meetings with my backs. I speak to them on a regular basis. We got group chats and all that. But those conversations are tough to have, and people aren't just out here throwing money at women's pro football.
Right.
So it's and then you're asking, yes, you signed up for this sport. Yes, it's a heavy undertaking. But you have from training camp, actually the last day of tryouts, to the beginning of the season to pay it. So $50 here, $100 here, $25 here, pay up your player fees up until the season begins, and then, okay, let's talk. We could put you, if you have a payment agreement set up and there's a way forward, I'm not gonna take your time off the field because you are doing. Now, if you miss that, now I got to talk to the general manager. I got to figure out where we need to put you. Yeah.
Wow. It's that serious? It's that serious?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be a lot to balance, though, in the midst of, trying to play and win a game. So how do you deal with the balance of being, a coach and making sure that you're handling the business side of things and coaching, but also being kind of a friend to the players? Because they're all your peers. Everybody's around, similar age to yourself. So they're kind of like your peers. How do you balance that without ending up in a lot of conflict off the field?
You have the uncomfortable conversation that I am your coach on the field and I'm your friend off the field. When we talk football, we're talking specifically football. There's no favoritism. What you show me on the field is what I'm going to go with. And you can be pissed mad at me on the field all you want to. That's cool. You don't got to talk to me nothing. But after the game is over, we're going to toast up, we're going to drink, we're going to laugh, joke about it, and keep it moving. But if my friendship is jeopardized based off of me being a coach, then at that point, I feel used as a coach, and you're not after a friendship. You're just trying to get in my good graces. And I read people. I let them show their hands before I say anything, and then I move accordingly. But the blessing is the running back group that they're tight knit, and we do have that respect. We do have that separation of understanding. Soon as we touch the football field, it's Coach Red, it's T. Smith, Rocky, Keno, whatever name the players have, and it's all respect. I've been blessed to have these women as running backs, and we check each other. That's the other thing. As a coach, I give that flexibility for them to be like, hey man, I know there was one time I kind of went off into the right. I wasn't having a good mental health day, and I took accountability for that. And they came up to me. They was like, "Hey, I get it. You wanted us to run for dropping the ball during practice during this drill, but that should have been cool. You took off and got upset." And I'm like, you know what? I should have checked myself. My apologies. And after that, everything was cool. But you got to allow that sometimes because we're all human.
So you mentioned that the support from family is one thing, but what other things do you think would be the best things for folks to know that are setbacks to the league right now?
It is full contact, full coverage football. It's not the lingerie league. These are women wanting to play pro football. Other than that, also, belief that women can play ball. I need you to believe. I need you to come to believe it when you see it. Come out and try it. Not separating family. NFL support. You got a team in your state. We don't compete. You guys are in training camps right now. Y'all are looking for drafts, all of that. So there should be no reason why there isn't a pivot to saying women's pro football. They easily did it with flag football, not knocking flag football, but that type of exposure and, them pulling up and showing up to games as well. Just really, really the financial aspect, getting these women paid to play this sport is and people coming to the stands, whether you know somebody on the team or not, just coming out 3 Saturdays of your weekend to see a game.
And it seems like it shouldn't be that tough because people do like football. So
right.
It seems like it should be an easier. I'm not going to call it an easy sell, but I think that part of it is like even right now, you and I having this conversation is foreign to a lot of people. A lot of folks don't even know that women have contact football. They know about flag. They don't. So, and I just noticed that people started actually, like you mentioned, there was the lingerie football league, which was crazy to me. I knew it wouldn't last because it was very unsafe. Right. But that was as close as you got to women's contact football before now. So it's like they put a little bit more promotion behind the LFL, and now that they actually have a real football league, it seems like they don't want to talk about it. So I'm wondering.
This is why they don't want to talk about it. Again, ripping the Band-Aid off, and I'm a very straight up no chaser person. Sex sells, right?
It does.
So to see women in boy shorts with their cakes out, lacrosse shoulder pads, and a hockey helmet running around on the field is more appealing to the eye than one could think, oh, they're in shoulder pads and helmets. It's not a sexy thought. Like nobody, until they go out into the field and see, they don't look like a bunch of men out there. You can definitely tell there's a bunch of women out on that field. But they're waiting for they're waiting for the sex sell part. There's also the misconception that you have to be part of the LGBTQ community in order to play football. So a lot of people might not support it for that reason, which, contrary to popular belief, there are a lot of straight women that play this sport. So getting rid of that desire to see it more glamorous and sexualized, and now we got to put the girls that do dress more mass presenting have to kind of tone it down. No, we're not. This is about football. Look at it for what it is. It's about football. The woman part is the only thing that separates it. But you got to make it's got to be, in the lack of a better words, it's got to be sexier to people in order for them to want to see it. And that's the God honest truth about it, which is unfortunate.
That's an interesting take on it though, but I can't deny your logic. I'm a good dude, but yeah, I got my problems too. Certain, if you look at my Instagram timeline, you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." So it wasn't my fault though, but they tempt you. They tempt you with this stuff.
Yeah. It's that darn algorithm.
Yeah.
And watch now. Once you get off of here, you're gonna start seeing more WNFC, more WNFC, more WNFC.
See, ever since I started following your content on the Facebook side, I guess Google got an idea. And they started feeding me more stuff on the YouTube side. So I got YouTube, I got Instagram. I'm hooked in with a couple of the teams, the one down here in Florida. I think the
Avengers actually come up to play us this year.
Okay. Yeah. So
the Florida Avengers come to play us.
I'm going to say this. I think y'all got that game. I seen their practices. I seen their practices. So I think y'all all right on that one.
But there's coaching, a lot of people have to understand that because we do not practice, it's not NFL, we have jobs, right? So I get off of work at 5:00. I got to be at the field by 7. We practice 7 to 9:30, Tuesday, Thursday nights. And I'm not getting home until 10:30 because sometimes I have coaching meetings with the coaches or the players want to talk a little bit longer. So that plays a big part of it as well. So the time, again, it's all about the work you put in off the field. If you put the work in to train and condition yourself, study your craft, farm your own land, when you get on the field, the only thing that your coach has to do is put you in and tweak what he needs you to execute. Defense, cover 2, cover 3. Are you on man? Are you in a bear front? Are you on a 4-3 over, 4-3 under? Offense, are you doing zone? Are you doing ISO? Like what type of are you doing shotgun? What type of formations are you going to get into? All I got to do is teach you how to move, do your alignment and assignment and technique. But if you're already an athlete, that's a great day for me.
Yeah, just
put you in the right spot.
Yeah. So do you find that there's mostly just athletes needing to do something with their athleticism or people who are looking to try to stay in shape?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
We've got a couple of young ladies that have never played football a day in their life. And those are my favorite.
And they decided to play tackle football.
They decided to play full contact tackle football.
Okay. All right.
And to mold somebody that has no previous coaching, I don't got to undo anything. I just tell you, this is your alignment, your assignment technique. Let me see how you can do it. Okay, all right, that was good, but I need just a little bit more of this from you. I need just a little bit more of that from you. And then you put them in the game and you watch them cook. Okay. So we got soccer players. We have former soccer players, basketball, a rugby player, and most of the women on Prodigy, they still play flag football in the off season to keep themselves athletic and keep themselves running and not sitting and getting stagnant.
Well, I have a highlight reel that it looks like it was, I want to say this game was maybe a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And it looks like it was a sort of a rematch of the championship game. So I'm not going to say who won or lost anything, but I do have a highlight reel. I wanted to show it real quick for those that are in the DMV area. They definitely need to know that this exists. Definitely need to know. Hold on 1 second. All right, can you see this little? You can see it.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. I'm gonna turn on the sound here.
Football enough for me. This might be the best thing that ever happened to football. The Washington Prodigy.
That's my guy right there.
Is crazy, and they got a quarter.
Shouts to Uptown Ham, by the way, aka Ham Sandwich on YouTube. By the way,
Ham Sandwich,
yeah. Ever since I seen that first video, they've been feeding me all his stuff, and he's definitely doing a good job. Shouts to
back out there that's throwing the ball like Tom Brady. We start off right here with a nice little play action. The QB threaded the ball through the tightest hole I ever seen in my life. The receiver catch that joint over the shoulder, all fingertips, and then she proceeds to Euro step the defender game. Are we playing basketball or football? Oh yeah! He started giving her the bug. Then we pan to number 2. She look like she played for LSU right now, just off the draft. She come off, catch a little slant. Now peep the timing too. The ball is in the air before she even turn her head. To make matters worse, for some reason, I thought they was about to go back to her just by her alignment.
Man, pretty blurred.
All I see is her running wide open for an easy blur. I ain't gonna lie, the atmosphere at this game was literally crazy.
Oh God, hey ball.
Then they come back, they dump the ball off to the running back. And I don't know if she was watching Tavon Austin highlights before the game or Saquon Barkley, but she just getting out of there. Broke one tackle, and all I saw was a 4-3.
Oh! Nah, she tripping. Get the tripping.
Y'all not talking about women's pro.
So nonetheless, That was a highlight of your team. I followed y'all squad. I think I followed the other girl here, her squad
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
They're out in I think the West Coast somewhere though, right? I mean, you guys are
Yeah.
all over the nation. You got about 16 teams in your particular league, and you said there's the WFA as well.
Yeah, the Washington Football Alliance, and I got a young lady that would be good for you to speak to, and I'll connect you with her as well. But it's about women's pro football. As much as I want to singularly highlight the WNFC, my first opportunity to play women's pro football was with the now owner Rich Daniels, who owns the DC Divas. The DC Divas was the first team that I played for. Without the WFA, I wouldn't be able to be among a group of elite women. And when I'm saying every single woman that has touched that football field, whether they were able to play one season or not, I'm a part of a group of elite women that get to say that I played women's professional football. That's not to knock any other profession, military, first responders, but this right here, it goes in one of those things where my children got to watch me play football all the way down to the youngest. And I can tell stories of remember when, mom, or they come back and say, mom, remember when. And not a lot of women can say that. I wish a lot more women would be able to say that, would love to say that, and come out and try out for football. Without knowing anything, I can teach somebody from not knowing anything for football to being a running back by the time the season starts. And I only have 3.5, maybe 4 months to do it.
Well, speaking of
with
which,
only practicing 3 days a week.
Speaking of which, what is the prodigy identity on the field? What's your football identity for the team? Do you guys have a certain, relentless or whatever, certain phrase or something that you guys use?
Well, we're going to run the ball down their throat. And when we got tired of doing that, we're going to pass it over their heads. That's it. And that's all.
Straightforward. Pretty straightforward.
Our chant at the end of every game, prodigy on 3, family on 6. We are a team first, and we are a family second. We protect each other on and off the field. And I think that's what makes the energy that you felt through the screen of the game. You can feel that the energy on the field is unmatched. The energy in the stands is unmatched. Our New Jersey game that just passed, the energy on the sidelines was crazy. And it's what helped get us to the win.
And you also mentioned that when you do some of the out-of-town games that you have to be more specific about who goes. So do you literally kind of try out pretty much every week when it comes down to that kind of situation?
It starts from the first game at the snap of the ball. Let's see who does what. Also lead the practices leading up, what they've delivered, what they've been able to show us, how they execute, their knowledge of the playbook, us not needing to make too many corrections on their specific their specific position. And what we need for that game. Some games we need certain type of bodies to play because we've studied film and realized this linebacker plays this way. So we're going to need more of a downhill runner. We're going to need a more stronger fullback that has speed to catch that outside pickup from either the defensive end or pick up the outside linebacker because we might be running to the outside, or a good lead block up the middle because we're going to go ISO. It really, really is predicated on what they show us in practice and what they know about the playbook and their execution.
So which position group is the hardest one to actually, coach? In your opinion?
In my opinion, I'm gonna give it to the O-line. I'm gonna give it to the O-line.
Is the hardest to coach because they have to be in sync, basically.
They have to be in sync, and it's a lot of ask, right? I know as far as I would say the running backs, only because I'm a running back coach and I know what I got to deal with. But when I look at the load that the O-line also has to take on between understanding whether or not the quarterback is going to take a 3-step drop or a 5-step drop. The pass protection, whether it's the forward down lineman and the mic on the play side or the backside, weak side. If there's a tight end with the tackle, that tight end and that tackle have to communicate. If there's no tight end, now the assignment for the tackle is different. So making sure that each and every one of those linemen are cued in on what their responsibilities are when there is or isn't somebody there, especially if the backs aren't there as a secondary protector for the quarterback, because we might get tagged for a route. Or we might have to pick up something that bled on the end because they got a bare front and now there's 6 people kind of on the line and not just 5 or 4 down linemen. So it is a heavy lift for them. Running backs, I would say personally, and I'm only speaking offense because I don't know. I know defense, but I don't coach it. So I can't speak intelligently or holistically on that. I do know that the running backs also is a difficult position. I have to teach them how to pre-snap read. Look at what the tendencies of the linebackers are doing. After you make your first decision, what's that secondary level decision look like? Is the quarterback taking a 3-step drop or a 5-step drop? What side of the line is the strongest? Is the left side stronger than the right side? Do you have to keep your head on a swivel more on this side than you do the other? Watch the O-line tendencies. If your assignment doesn't show, are we inserting ourselves in the line? How deep are you going to go? Stay out of the pocket. All those things.
That's a lot.
Footwork.
This is a lot.
Yeah.
This is a lot of information. Like, I'm learning, and you're talking, and I know football really well. And half the stuff you're saying, I don't even know what you're saying. So, and I played some football. I played for a couple of years myself. So I'm pretty well versed. And I'm sitting there like, wow, she really knows her football. You make me sound like I don't know nothing other than the jersey colors or something. Like, I don't know what to say on that one. That was crazy. You broke that all the way down.
Yeah.
So,
it's meticulous. I'm very meticulous in how I do things.
So do you think that women's football in general is just judged by a different standard than men's football, or it's just because they took out the sexualization element that they had with the lingerie thing, and that may have affected viewership?
It's kind of like how, women's basketball didn't really take off until you got a little bit of controversy leading into it. Now, everybody wants to watch Angel Reese and Caitlin, and how are they going to be when it comes to
right.
They don't take women's sports seriously in general, because one of two things: it's not as exciting, because it's not as competitive or the level of which they watch men. It's always comparing. Well, the first thing that I get when somebody asks, you played football, I bet you couldn't run past me. I bet you I could tackle you. Bruh, I am 5'2", 106. I hope you could. Like, that is not something that
right,
you
it's
need.
Not a flex.
You need
that
to say it's not a flex. That's not a flex. So they're looking for the excitement. And what they miss out on is assuming that there's not going to be any excitement, assuming that there's no competition. Until you go and actually watch it, even if you watch it on TV, you're not going to know what's on the field. The second thing is drama. They want it, but they don't. Right? They kind of want to see a little scrapple, a little, here and there, but they don't want the drama. They don't want it. Oh, this is why women shouldn't have these sports, because all they do is bicker and fight. Do you know how many men done elbow checked an eyeball?
Yeah.
The cheap shots that get taken in the NFL, soccer games, lacrosse, like, you name a sport. You're talking about human emotions. Controlled violence is what football is. Somebody said, how would you like to hit someone as hard as you possibly could within 3 to 4 seconds and you won't go to jail for it? Hello?
Sounds good.
Tell me you would say no to that.
I wouldn't say no to that.
It's controlled violence. So you're taking human emotions and you're expecting them not to have a reaction to something that happened, right? So I think just showing up and taking this extra part of your brain and opening up to something new and accepting that your daughter, your niece your cousin, your sister, your mother is an athlete. She used to run track when she was in high school. She had kids and now she wants to do something. Why not support that? She was an all-star basketball player. Now she's turned mom and she done found something that's a passion. Let her be selfish because she's taking care of everything else and everybody else. And then taking herself away from that, not to say that she doesn't love her family, doesn't want to be there, but she has to find something that's hers. So understanding that these women are doing something because they love the sport, they have a passion for it, and it's them. It doesn't make them who they are, but it's a big part of just having their own identity instead of just being a mom and a sister and an aunt and a cousin like anybody else would want.
Right. Well, you know, that definitely speaks to how women's football would be judged. I almost want to say more harshly than men's football. Like,
oh, I've gotten, shouldn't you be in the kitchen cooking for your kids? What are you doing? I'm like, I would definitely be there, but my husband's a great cook. So I'm gonna go after I get off this football field, I'm gonna go ahead and get me a plate of dinner. But you know, the barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen mentality and where a woman's place should be is what needs to be eradicated in order for the respect that women are currently balancing their households and their jobs and playing football.
Wow. And see, that's an interesting question. Do you ever get like hecklers at the game talking that kind of stuff, or that's more like online people or folks in passing?
Those are the keyboard warriors.
Right.
Mostly. You get actually I get a lot more respect. Like people will see me wearing my varsity jacket and they're like, "Oh, what's that? That's football," because it's big Washington Prodigies on the back and it says Prodigy football. So when I tell people I'm a coach, and there's a lot more respect face to face than there is online. And most of the times, you know, I look at it and I'm like, "Oh, you're just trolling." I don't give it too much energy. And now that you've trolled me, I'm now part of your algorithm. So please keep going, because now you're going to keep seeing more of me, and then your people are going to see you commenting on it, and it's going to bring more traction. So please, by all means, say what you got to say. I might put a little laughing emoji, but you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's interesting because I have to get to. I got to get to this topic. It's a sensitive topic, though.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
And because there's been this debate about men in women's sports, people who were born men in women's sports. Have you guys had to have that conversation yet? And if so, how do you feel about that?
So the WNFC has regulations against that. For that reason, I don't know if the WFA still. I don't know how the WFA functions now, but there have been. When I was physically playing football, I did play against a trans woman. And when you talk about the difference between women playing football and men playing football, specifically football, they started out in peewee and grew into the sport over the years. They've developed their bodies over the years. And I don't judge anybody by what they feel their life, who they are. That is, if that's what your identity is, if that's how you feel more comfortable presenting yourself to the world, that's on you. I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. But as a safety aspect, it is concerning that no matter what levels that you are when it comes to like testing and estrogen and testosterone and that, your body build, your natural build as a man is more dense. It is more powerful. And it's a health and safety risk for me. If you can imagine, a young lady, that did transition. So she's playing football, in the league, and she's about 5'8", 195.
Kind of stocky. Okay.
And you're a linebacker. But cis-born male transition to female, address you as such. You're playing in the league. But when my 5'2", at the time I was 135, 45 pounds, I'm running against that. That's a linebacker coming to tackle me. It's enough that already cis-born females are big and stocky. My homegirl, Tia, my bestie, she's natural, just big, stocky build, number 52 on our O-line. Her natural build is just stocky. She worked for that also. So your chemical makeup, your physicality, your know-how, it does pose a health and safety risk.
So is that
and
more to
that
say
is my only problem.
So just to piggyback on that, so basically with them trying to push that agenda on women's sports, they're really saying they don't care about the safety of women. Is that pretty much what we're?
Some women do feel that. Some women do feel that way. Some women do take on that stance. Like, you're not taking into consideration that I signed up to play women's football to play against other women. And there is controversy with women saying that because of the level of acceptance that's being asked for trans women. Again, I'm not against what anybody chooses for their life. There is always going to be an opposing thought process and an opposing. There's always going to be some type of controversy and everybody having their own opinions. And it is not off par for someone to think you don't care about my health because you're allowing this. It's big. It's a big controversial. It's a big controversial
that's why I wanted
thing,
to ask about it, because I personally, I am enjoying what I'm seeing in women's football, right?
Right.
But if you put in that element that I'm talking about, I'm not going to want to see that. So that's the part I'm trying to. I guess I'm trying to frame the question is,
and that goes for, you know, when they take off when you take off a helmet, you're expecting, you know, we got women with locks, we got women with short hair, but your expectation when you come to the game is women playing football. And again, not to discredit what someone chooses to identify with, what their truth is for themselves. It is what it is when it comes to stigmas, when it comes to sports in general. The league is WNFC is different than WFA. The rules and everything are completely different. So protecting everybody is what is most important. Good, bad, or ugly. I definitely feel, personally, I feel if a woman decided she wanted to play in the NFL, that would be dangerous for her. Not to say that she is incapable of playing the sport. But if you have someone like a Ray Lewis, Palomalu,
you said it. I'm not allowed to say that. You said it, though.
It's to think that again, it's not that they're incapable of doing it. The build, the muscle structure, all of that does have a natural chemical body makeup that makes that dangerous. So we build a league for women to play because little girls were told, you're not supposed to play football. You're not allowed to play football. Go do ballet, go do soccer, do something safer. Field hockey, you know. So now that there's an opportunity for women to play football, let women play football. That's how I would say.
It's pretty straightforward. So you guys you mentioned that you had this experience before. So it's the WNFC doesn't have or has particular rules against it, but there's other organizations that allow that.
that allow it. And I don't know if it's changed. I don't dig deep into other leagues in particular, or how that goes about. And it's not one-sided. So it's the transition from male to female, and it's also transition female to male that they take into consideration as well. So it's not a one-sided thing. If someone is doing the opposite transition and their testosterone levels are at a certain height, they're like, no, you cannot, you can no longer
really?
play. So
Wow.
it's both. It's not one-sided. It's both sides. It's on both sides.
I didn't
of the
know
spectrum.
that. I definitely
Yeah.
didn't know that second piece.
Yeah.
Because they only
Yeah.
have a one side of that particular argument most
Yeah, there's
times.
two sides of that coin. There's definitely two sides of that coin.
Mm.
Which
So do you have
raises a list of other questions.
Yeah, I was about to ask a couple of questions about, like, if you have, certain supplements that you're not allowed to take for
Yes.
testosterone and stuff like that. Like, so they
Yeah,
do the piss testing, they do all that stuff too, like they do in the
They
NFL?
will if it's in question, if your presentation is in question. I mean, you got women that have PCOS, so they naturally grow facial hair. There's nothing they can do about that. That's medical, right? But if previous pictures show that wasn't, you didn't have a shadow before and now you got a shadow, now there's questions about, like, if you picked up a lot of muscle mass all of a sudden, if you have a facial hair shadow, if you got certain things, there are certain things that will pique someone's eyebrow, and you can be asked to be tested if they feel so inclined to do so.
Wow.
And you've signed a contract that says that you're going to abide by these things and you're not going to take these certain supplements, because it can become a detriment. You got to imagine somebody on testosterone high, if they're choosing to pin or not, it's a controversial thing too.
Mm-hmm.
It changes your body's chemical makeup and your muscle structure and your strength and all of that. So again, it is to protect the health of the individual, because your bones and your joints and everything can be compromised and it can lead to injuries. Or that added bit of testosterone can take you high and to the right, and now you're tackling people and you're doing it in a unnatural, uncontrolled manner than you otherwise wouldn't be doing without it. So it is a health and safety regulation. It's not saying you can't live your truth, you can't be who you are, you can't do what you want to, but everybody's not doing that. The whole league isn't doing it. So we can't make an exception because of who you are and what you want. We have to, be safe about it.
You got to keep it fair. I mean, that's the whole point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
That's interesting that would be, a conversation that you'd have to have. But I'm wondering, like, can they force, with federal regulations saying that we can't discriminate against this or that, would they be able to force the league to accept something like that? Or is the league able to just autonomously say, we don't do that here, but you can do it wherever you want to do? I think
in the establishment of the league, I think they set those guidelines and those boundaries for safety reasons. But it's not and the fact that that's looked at as a discrimination more so than a safety thing is probably the one thing that bothers me the most. It's like we're not trying to discriminate against you, and if a health and safety isn't what's on your mind on this, then what are you doing this? What are you doing it for?
Right. And that's the thing. So where do you draw the line between being inclusive and competitive fairness based on, the league itself? Like, where is the line? Is there like...
It's very difficult because, not no pun intended, but the goalpost keeps moving. The goalpost keeps moving. So there is no, and I'm sure, like, after this, we're live here, there's probably going to be a controversial response to even though, albeit respectful as I am, and I do have friends on both sides of that spectrum. I have friends on throughout the LGBTQ community. Plus, it is a controversial thing, and the right now you have to accept type of thing is what makes it difficult to even, for people to adjust to. So I don't know. It's always going to be an issue. I mean, being Black in America has been an issue for the test of times, and nobody's asking where's the line between discrimination and safety.
Right.
So
do you
apples and oranges, but fruit.
do you think that they might move in that direction if maybe they had a different administration in the presidential side? Because right now things are kind of being run by Republicans, but it seemed like the progressive agenda was more on the Democratic side, and maybe if we had a Democratic leader, they might have put those kind of things in place. That's why I was asking, would the league be forced to do something like that, or could they still just have their own sovereignty and say, this is our league, we just don't do that here? So,
I would like to hope that the leagues keep their sovereignty, and if there's a space that is accepting of the trans community one way or the other, then that league is open to that. You play for that league. And for those who are less inclined to play in a league with that, you can play for this league. I think there is a way to create a space for people to find where they're accepted. And that's with anything. I think where the issue comes in is you want to go to a place where you feel that there needs to be a change and they have to start accepting us because we should be able to be here when there's already a lane kind of created for you. That's where I'm like, I have a tough time accepting and supporting that narrative. So if we do have a more democratic, liberal type of leadership that's looking to do that, you're moving the goalpost again.
Well, and that's an interesting question, because I know we are going to get some bite back for even recommending that there be a league, specifically a league of their own.
Right.
So
I mean, but not even suggesting. I mean, could that be a thing? Absolutely. But if there's already a league if there are already leagues that are accepting it, then go to that space and the words sound harsh, and I'm not trying to say, well, just go over there. But if there's a space for it, go and thrive. If there's a space that's not for it, be okay that this is just not a space for you.
Yeah, everything ain't for everybody. Yeah.
Right. And nobody is telling you that you are not allowed to play the sport. You're just in this space, and be okay with that. Like, when you go to the
conversation, though, that's a really
absolutely
in today's modern times. That's they're going to say that you're being discriminatory if you're saying that.
And no matter how much, and everybody, I am a firm believer. I am not everybody's cup of tea. I'm somebody's shot of tequila. So if what my words, if you're not hearing the sincerity and the genuineness and me understanding that you want inclusivity like everybody else in this world wants inclusivity. They want to be accepted. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be treated fairly and equally. If that's not what you're hearing from me, then you have to look at the mirror in yourself and check your ears to say, why am I hearing this different than what she's trying to give? Because not everybody's after attacking. Not everybody speaks in a manner that they're trying to attack something or tell you that you're not allowed to do something. It's see things for what they are and say, this might not be the space for me. If I walk into a country, I walk into a country bar and I'm the only one that looks like me, I'm gonna look around and be like, you know what? Y'all got it. No matter if I can do the Cotton Eye Joe all night and do some line dances like the best of them, I have to be okay that I don't need to. Why do I need to force them to accept me to be in that space?
Right.
If that's the space that they have for them, that's the mindset that I'm trying to delicately address in here, because I don't want to offend anyone. I really want there to be an understanding across the board from anyone that's listening, that acceptance is real and everybody wants it in one shape, form, or fashion.
That is, it's a deep conversation.
Yeah,
that's a deep conversation. And like I said, that it's like you take one side, they tell you you're being discriminatory. You take another side, they tell you you're being unsafe. So
yeah,
it's kind of like a no-win.
Yeah.
Unless there was its own kind of situation, and you can, like you said, you have options. You can go here if you want to do that. You can do that. If you want to go here, you can do that. That's probably a better way to do it than having like a nationwide ban on something like that. I think having options might be a better way to do it. So I never really thought about it like that, like having multiple leagues, because I only knew of the WNFC. I'm just now finding out that there was more than one situation going on. Right. So not knowing that there was other leagues that had other rules, and so how do you deal with that? Do you guys like do a Super Bowl where multiple leagues come together, or you just have individual situations?
I do wholeheartedly wish we did a Battle of the Beltway type of scrimmage game, because you have Washington Prodigy, WNFC. You have the Baltimore Nighthawks. You have the DC Divas, WFA. Richmond Black Widows, WFA. I don't know if the Hampton Gators is still a team or not. I know there was another team that was supposed to be Venom out in Northern Virginia. And you're going from 11-man football, 9-man football. The WFA has theirs broken down to D1, D2, and D3 leagues. WNFA is just get it how you live it. Like, you're playing football. There's no tiers to this. This is you either the best or you're not. And the best compete against the best. The best will show up and play football. But the WFA has been established as having D1, D2, and D3 leagues because there are more teams, and it's kind of the squads aren't as big. So it gives an opportunity for the teams that are just now establishing to compete against other teams that are just now establishing. And the longer and better your rankings go, your season scoring, and how you finish out a football year elevates you to the next D level of football within that league.
So how does somebody start a team? Like they grab some friends, or is there some tryout process? How does do you have to invest a certain amount? Like how does that whole thing start?
You have to invest a certain amount. You have to invest a certain amount. You have to fill out. There's a lot of paperwork to be filled out. And sometimes it could be you got a bunch of women that you see. They like the WNF, the Prodigy was started from former players of the Divas. They started another team. There was a lot of women that lived in between the Northern Virginia area and DC area that might not have been able to make the accommodations to travel where they practiced. And then you have people that played in Baltimore that wanted to play for a local team because they moved, but they couldn't make the practices. So now you have a team that's right here and we practice at Fairmont High School tonight. And sometimes practice at Deanwood. So now you got the inner city folks that aren't able to make it maybe to the Divas in the Springfield area for whatever reason, or Baltimore area. Now you're funneling, the teams to create space for women that want to play, but they can't get to the next team.
And do they put out like an ad to get people to try out, or they just go searching?
So national tryout time frame is October through early October through November, Thanksgiving, and then there's one more in December. But they have tryouts through that whole window. You said
national tryout? So they have a national.
There's a national tryout day. So all the teams open up.
Is that for a U.S. national team, or that's for all the teams? Everybody tries out on the same day.
All the teams try out. all the teams have this one day that everybody has an opportunity to try out at their local team location. We do OTAs during the off season, so we give them about a month and a half. I'm practically I'm in football all year round at this point. Championship game is in at the end of June. We take July off. Everybody licks their wounds, go get MRIs, X-rays, fix your body, heal up, figure out what the game plan is. I'm in the gym with my running backs, or trying to get them in and get them what I need to see from them coming into next season if they come back. And then we're on the field 2 days a week. Sometimes we try to do it 5 days a week to let as many people that can show up based off their work schedules, get footwork, and their, Jesus, what's the word? Cardio, do all the drills and everything
Sounds
to
like a
build
lot of
up
work.
their stamina.
This sounds like a lot of work.
It's a full-time job that I don't get paid for.
Oh, so you don't get paid anything to coach the team at all?
Nope.
Well, that's not right. So how do we change that? How do we change that
Same
part?
thing. If we get more people in the stands, show up to the games, you buy tickets online. So even if you can't make a physical game, you have online tickets. You can just purchase an online ticket and say you're donating. If you have an individual business, there's a sponsorship package. You can get your ad. We got these banners that they line up along the fence line for companies that sponsor the team or sponsor individual players. And it's, you got a picture or a ad and a shout out during halftime or during the commercial breaks or whatnot. So there's multiple ways to do that. I don't reach out for sponsorships as a coach because I want it to go to the players, because ultimately the goal is to get the players paid. If I could get paid to play or coach, I mean, who wouldn't like a little extra pocket change, right?
Right. Right.
And what does that look like for a coach to have sponsorship? Because that's not something that is looked at. I was asked by Lamont Jordan, who's a dear friend of mine, over the past 8 or 9 years. And when he made the phone call, say, I need you to coach with me, that was it. I just had to, get the hominis dominus, the A-OK of the extra workload. But that was it. And I have a passion for the game. I love the game. I love watching the aha moment. I love watching my running backs who were maybe unsure of themselves in the beginning when it finally clicks and they're just getting busy. Like you saw Keena doing. Just keep your feet moving. They can't touch you once you get into open ground. You're
Oh yeah, she was balling. She was
this past Saturday athletes. This past Saturday she had a 60-yard run. 60-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, she's quick. She is quick.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I have another question. If just by chance there's an actual like a serious sponsor watching or somebody who's interested in sponsoring, like what would be a pitch for why it's a good investment to invest in women's football?
A good pitch. It would be, you have a unique opportunity to pour into an elite group of women that sacrifice their time, their families, for something that they have a passion to do. Not because somebody asked them to do it, but because they feel it's part of who they are. In addition to that, you get to watch Smash Mouth football after the end of the Super Bowl, and you don't have to wait another second until the next football season comes up. So why not take a chance, invest in some women that are playing hard, smash mouth, unapologetic football, and watch what they can do.
Well, that sounds like a good pitch to me. I don't know any other way to say that. and me personally, like I said, I'm interested in just trying to expand the conversation because, sports is sports, and there's going to be women's sports, men's sports, and they're going to be competitive, and they're, anything that I've seen on either side of the coin is always a competitive sport. So
Right.
for whatever reason, women's sports get a lot less press.
Yes.
And if in any way I can help with people just saying, hey, let's go check this out, because football season, like you said, football season ends, and then people act like there's nothing else to see, and there's a
Right.
whole nother season happening right under their noses.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's.
Yep.
I mean.
So I had DJ Academics come out to our first home for our game against Dallas, and
Okay.
he was like, "Yeah, I'll try to make it out there. I got an event. I'll pull up as soon as I can." He came down to the field, and he was like, "Yo, this is crazy. You got a fan. You got a fan." He was like, "This is crazy." He got media credentials, so he was able to be right on the sidelines within the thick of it and the energy, and got a really just a mean catch, that touchdown catch that you showed against the Dallas game with number 2. He was able to record that with his phone. So that's a memory he gets to keep and replay over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And he shared it on his social media. So if you have a podcast, if you have a YouTube channel, if you just like to recreationally cover sports, find a city near you. Look up the WNFC. Look at the teams. They have a full list of the teams. They have the address location for where they play the games, and watch what they can do. If anybody's out in Chicago, I'll be there this weekend. We play against Chicago Winds this weekend. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. You can stream it on Victory Plus. You can pull up to the field, but just give it a chance. That's all I would have to say, and you won't be disappointed.
Okay, well, as we're getting ready to wrap up here, but since the sport is new at the pro level, how would you respond to like a young girl, who's trying to basically find her way through the ranks to get to that pro level with you guys? Because there's not football in middle school and high school for women. So how do they get that good football IQ and they get themselves physically ready to be able to play pro football when they get to your level?
Honestly, YouTube. Just kidding. No, they can actually go to a local team. We have a few young ladies that are 17 and will be turning 18 coming into the next season, and we allow them to come to our OTAs, come to our preseason, postseason workout, preseason workouts, where they learn how to do the shuttle run, their 40, do the hurdles, footwork. We teach all of that, and learning what their bodies can do. Get in the gym and get in the gym with purpose. Make sure your cardio's up. Make sure you're watching football now, and you're getting some sort of understanding of what you're looking at. Again, just all you have to do is try it.
Is there a
actually
push?
number?
Is there a push to introduce this at the high school level?
No, because flag football is there. Why do they need girls full contact football if they have flag football?
So you can't.
And
have
you do have
both?
girls that are playing high school. Why not?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Why
Can
can't
they? Why can't they have both?
I don't understand why you can't.
I
have
think
both.
you and I have the same. We're both dumbfounded. Why can't we have both? Because
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if somebody showed up to a high school and they said, even if it's 9-man football, like they play overseas in Poland and Finland, 9-man football for girls, you probably wouldn't be surprised at how many girls would actually sign up.
So as far as like sports on the way up too, because we're doing wishful thinking right now with high school, but are there any sports that translate well, like volleyball or anything, to the professional football realm?
My favorite translated players Former basketball players as tight ends or wide receivers and DBs. And I mean, shoot, we got linebackers too, as former basketball players.
Right, basketball players, yeah.
Yeah, soccer players, lacrosse, women's lacrosse is big. There are, I mean, even if you've never played a sport, and we've got a couple women that have never played sports a day in their life, and they became dogs at football.
I think it's about until you try. Basically.
You never know until you try. It's about heart. What I know for a fact, you cannot coach or teach heart. You either have the heart for it or you don't. I can condition you till you're blue in the face, till your legs are shaking and you're tired and you can barely walk to your car. I can drill football plays and IQ and tell you what a 4-eye, a 3 technique, a 7-9. I can do all of that for you. I can get you ready to be on the field. What does your heart and your spirit, what do you have that dog in you when you step on that field that you're going to actually use that controlled violent space and be violent?
Right.
In a constructive way.
Well,
and you have a helmet and pads on.
Yeah, violence in a constructive way.
You have helmet and pads on.
Right.
Like, hello. I mean, why not?
So do you guys deal with any overarching safety issues? Like, you know, with the NFL, they're always coming out with new rules for safety purposes, new helmets, new pad styles. Like, do you guys go through that every year? Do they have like a meeting or something? Or is it just, you know?
Yeah, your football helmet has to be, I believe it has to be it has to be brand new when you first get one. If you do happen to get a helmet passed down to you, it has to be reconditioned for that year. And I think it's 2 years before you need to have your helmet reconditioned. Shoulder pads, they're not extremely particular about the shoulder pads because you got to imagine all chest sizes are not created equal.
Right.
So, and Douglas tried to create shoulder pads that accommodated more bustier women. It just was not executed well. It worked for some, but didn't work for others. So
there's no one size fits all for shoulder pads.
It's not a one size fits all. No. Yeah. I'm a little person, so I was able to wear Zenith shoulder pads where it was like a full caged sternum cover. Everything. They got the back plates, you know, rib guards, all the same protection that you would see in college ball and NFL. Helmets are regulated. You know, you got Schutt, Rydell, Zenith went under or got bought out, if I'm not mistaken.
So the players can buy whichever helmet company they want. They're not relegated to just buying a certain type of helmet. They have like a couple options.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe the league is Rydell. And that might be because they have a sponsored contract, kind of like the Adidas. Like, we can't wear Battle and Under Armour and Nike because it's a conflict of interest. So everyone has to wear Adidas cleats. And anything outward facing for the league during game time and during the season, they prefer you to be in Adidas attire when it comes to football to honor the contract for the league. So you get fined and penalized as an individual or as a team for a player stepping on the field with Nike cleats on or Under Armour cleats on.
Do they stop the game for that, or they tell you about it later?
Oh no, it's inspected. They have people on the sidelines to make sure everybody's in regulations.
Oh wow!
It is a well-oiled machine, a business. It is a business mindset, and it's all to secure this. It's also to set everyone up for success. The women that are playing now are paving the way for the women that are going to be playing in the next 5 to 10 years. Right. God willing, the sport continues to grow. and the teams continue to get the investments that they need, the next generation of young girls will possibly get paid to play football. If my daughter decided, I mean, she's 6 now, if she decided she wanted to play football, hey, I'm all for it.
So is the
But
league,
she's more on the gymnastics side.
is the league subsidized at all by the NFL, or that's just a whole separate thing?
That I don't know if there's any subsidization. If there is, I'm not aware of it. I'm not that high on the the C-suite. I'm not in the C-suite,
Right.
But as you know, if it was a thing where we were subsidized by the league and local teams, we would be able to play at Audi Stadium, right? We would be able to share the stadium, but we can't share the stadium because you have soccer already there, and you have the Defenders that also play kind of in the middle of as our season's getting started. The Defenders are also getting started. So there is a bit of competition there. But having a field with the same medical, physical therapy, physical trainers, and recovery locker rooms, and a field to play on that we could call home would be a huge selling point, because then people know where we are every single year, and what we're doing. We're at Coolidge High School this year. So thank God we were able to get that high school back, to be able to call our home stadium. But it was Roosevelt the year before, and it was another school the year before. So there's no consistency in location, and then parking in DC is,
yeah, not easy.
Parking not easy. Well,
so
yes,
they're not making it easy for the league to grow when they have those kind of situations, though, right?
No, I mean, but you got the West Coast is laid out. It's perfect because you got the year-round good weather, outside of your random cold fronts and rain showers.
Right.
But the East Coast is a lot more difficult. A lot of teams are fighting for high school stadiums to play in, high school fields to play in. And that's an additional cost because you got to pay the referees, you got to pay the security, you got to pay the teachers or the staff that is using their time to come out to the field on a Saturday from ideally 10 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. That's a 12-hour day for somebody's off day.
Right.
So there's a lot that goes into it. And I don't think people understand that it's not just we want them to get paid, yes, but we want a space for them to be at so we can draw in the crowd. We don't get paid if we don't have the viewership, we don't have the participation and people showing up in person or buying tickets online and saying, you know what, I might not be able to make a game, but I will at least want to buy a ticket, or I will at least want to drop $150 in a donation and say, it's just a contribution to the team.
Well, that would be awesome. I've been trying to secure some tickets myself, so next time I'm in town, hopefully you guys have a home game and I can come and check it out.
We have May 16th, May 9th is the next home game. May 16th is the following home game. And then the Eastern Conference Championship weekend, it goes from Thursday all the way to Sunday. The Eastern Conference Championship weekend is being held in DC, and that is, don't get me the line, I believe that is June 3rd through the 6th, or June 4th through the 6th.
And that's when the season ends, is in June?
That's when the Eastern Conference champion, that's when the season ending game is May 16th. Then you have the Eastern Conference Championship, and it's Thursday, Friday games, double headers. So that's elimination round. The two teams that lost in that game play the next day again. And the two winning teams play that Saturday, and the championship team is decided. So we don't get playoffs like multiple days in the weekend. Our playoffs are literally all teams in one location playing 3 days of football with little to no rest.
Wow. That's like a jubilee right there.
Yeah, basically ran like a jubilee.
That's crazy.
Basically ran like a jubilee.
So
And mind you, we just finished the season, so.
So how many games are in each season? You got 16 teams in the league, so you got 15 games, or do you play each team twice?
6 regular season games, and then two playoff games, and then the 1 championship game. So it ends up being 8 games.
So you don't,
9 games.
You don't play all of the teams every season. You play certain ones.
Certain ones we rotate. We rotate who we travel to, and so this year Atlanta came to us because we went to them first. So we kind of. Oh no, sorry. We went to Atlanta this year because they came to us first. So we flip-flop who travels, who's the home game, who's the away game. It's broken down to National and American League. Like it's same brackets that the NFL breaks it down in is pretty much how we play.
Okay,
and transfer who travels.
4 brackets of 4 teams kind of thing going on. Okay. I mean, it's really well organized, so that's why I'm wondering, what's the next step to make it more recognized? It's definitely organized. Now I want to see how we can make it recognized. So if you had an idea, let's throw it out here real quick before we get out of here. What do you think would be the best way to make women's football more recognized nationally?
Having individuals like you that say, you know what, I just found out about this. This conversation needs to happen more. Having people that do have resources to broadcast to come out and do so. The buy-in from, NFL players that don't have anything to do on the weekends. If they're free, pop up to a game, go live, post about it, talk about it. Getting on the radio more frequently, announcing those things, getting TV ads put out there about the games on ESPN2, or the next level being mainstream on ESPN, like go to the big dog itself. National TV presence, local TV presence, multiple players getting on podcasts, introducing new segments, things like that. We go to local schools already. We do volunteer programs. We host girls camps. We're doing the legwork at the bottom level, but it's getting recognized for those things and escalating it. And the only way to do that is to have people like you to say, this is something that's untapped. Let's make it bigger. Let's grow it. So if you got somebody that has another podcast, I've got Coach Lamont Jordan. He does podcasts. He also still does broadcasting for University of Maryland. We show up to University of Maryland games, showing up to the Mystics games and being able to get on the halftime and introduce the local Washington Prodigy team, women's national football. I don't know. We go to the Spirit games, the Washington Spirit games. We show up to all the other sporting league events. It's the reciprocity within the women's sports to be able to show up and do the same thing.
And that's actually really where the question lies, is how are we going to get these folks to actually recognize that there's more than just what we get to see on the ESPN1, as they say. Right. There's a lot of different sports networks. There's a lot of different sports for women, because, we're so used to everybody putting a bunch of money behind men's sports, but I haven't seen them really put the true funding, true promotion behind women's sports. I haven't seen it, and I'm always wondering why they won't do it, because I'll be honest, I've watched at least 2 or 3 games, and it's like, yeah, I'm watching football, and it's probably because all of the competitors are women. So there's not like, I hate to say it, but there's not some dude out there running around like Bo Jackson. There's
Right.
it's almost it's a fair playing field. And the ones
Right.
that worked hard during the week, the ones that put in the work, you can tell who's putting in the work, who's got the cardio together. So it's really a
Right.
great watch to catch. And I didn't know that was going on. Like I said, came down the pipeline to me, and then I was introduced to your page, and then I found out that was going on. I said, well, maybe I can find out more about this, because I already know the other stuff, like the other regular football.
Right.
They talk about that all the time. So I don't really.
Right.
It's not as interesting as something new. So
It's something
this
new,
is new.
right.
Yeah, this is new. So I'm glad to have had you come on to the show tonight. I'm trying to see if my chat has any questions before I let you get out of here. They seem to just be watching. So everybody seems to be very interested in the topic itself, because this is not normally what I do on the show. Mostly it's talking about dumb stuff that people do and trying to help people not do it. But
you can't fix stupid.
Right. I try. I keep trying, and people keep telling me I can't do it. But I'm like, you know what? I gotta try.
Where there's a will, there's a will.
Yeah,
Where there's a will, there's a way.
So
Yeah, I'm open to any questions. Yeah.
Yeah, the main question that I already had answered, which was like, how do you prepare younger girls for getting themselves, from, starting out as playing field hockey in, middle school to playing tackle football when they're 21. Like it's
just the heart to be an athlete. Honestly,
you gotta be a competitor. You have to be a competitor.
Yeah,
definitely do. All right. Well, there doesn't seem to be any miraculous questions in the chat. I think I covered so much. We even got into the gender debate, which I was a little scared of, because YouTube is interesting about that debate. They don't really like people talking about it. So
they don't. Which is, you getting the right. You have to find the right recipe to discuss it, and I've I've lived in a space since I started putting my football career, which also kind of taps into family as well. You have to understand your reach. So the words that come out of your mouth and how you deliver them and what you're trying to convey to people listening is all that matters. Yes, do I have my own personal feelings about it? Absolutely. I am still going to vocalize them in a way that doesn't make someone feel like they're being ostracized for who they are, because I don't want that to happen to me. And plenty of times have I, gotten this might seem like a compliment, but sometimes it feels like a backhanded type of compliment. You're too pretty to play football. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, am I supposed to, I know I'm saying women's football, but when you say too pretty to play football, tell me what a football player looks like to you. Because I could line up my whole team and you'd be like, there's a spectrum. There is extremely beautiful, very pretty, mass presenting, and good looking. And that's it. Like, there's nothing ugly around here. There's everybody top tier. Everybody look good playing on this field.
I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't going to say it.
No,
I'm trying to look. Y'all got some lookers on the field.
I'll say it myself. They'll double caked up on a Good Lord Saturday. If you want to go to anything else, if you want to get to the point and the elephant in the room, the women are athletes. They are built like athletes. We have track runners. We have power lifters. We got firefighters, police officers, teachers, you name it. These women take care of their bodies because they are athletes. Even the big girls that work on the O line and the D line, they take care of their bodies because they are athletes.
Yes. I'm trying not to be creepy, but people know football pants are tight.
Are you kidding me? Do you know the reason why most women watch football is because they do the zoom in? Let's be honest. It's sexualized either way. It is not, it ain't, it's sexualized either ways, because the Got Milk commercials, you got football players, hockey players. They just had an ad on Instagram where they're zooming in on hockey players taking off their, like, one reason to watch hockey. Well, they got abs. It happens. I mean,
Okay.
I say it's not okay, but it is what it is. You got
Well, I mean,
eyeballs.
if
It's
that's
women.
if that's what brings you to the game,
If that's what brings you to the game,
yeah.
if you want to just watch cakes on the sideline,
Mhm.
at least you bought a ticket and
you're watching the game.
something.
Yeah, you're watching
and maybe
the game.
maybe you'll actually like football.
If nothing else, you'll like watching that football.
You'll like watching our football, if nothing else.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm trying not to be creepy over here. You know, I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea about watching the game. But if that's what you're there to see, you'll see that too. Is what I'm.
You'll
trying
see
to say.
that too. You can see football and cake.
Yeah. Cake ball. So. All right. Well, nonetheless,
it's crazy.
I'm wrong. Let me not do that. People
no,
gonna get the wrong idea.
Cool.
They're gonna get the wrong idea. I'm serious.
You gotta be lighthearted about it, though. You gotta be You gotta be lighthearted about it because it is what it is.
Let's just say Facebook knows what to feed me. Let's just say that. They knew exactly which players to start sending my way.
Which to just start sending your way.
Start sending them my way. Like, oh, okay, this is what we got on the field now. Let's see what else
to be
we got.
honest with you, it's sometimes when I see things come across my algorithm in Instagram and now even on TikTok, there are a lot more people starting to cover women's football that have pretty good following. Ham Sandwich, he's been a fan not 1 but 2 years. He's been on the sidelines a couple of times.
I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started.
Plenty of videos and photographers. Wallace Barron followed me throughout my whole career. I got pictures to last me a lifetime of my football career. And he still kind of sometimes sneaks a shot of me being a coach to get me those memories with my boys on the sidelines with me. So it's starting traction. So, anytime you want me to hop up here, I can we're
gonna do it again.
Get a couple of players,
after probably in a month from now, because you said you got the stuff going on in May. So I want to let some of that pass by so I can get some highlight reels from that. Because I know Ham is going to do another video or two by then, so I'll use his content to save me.
And I'm gonna message you the young lady that does our content on the sideline. Yeah. She's exclusively for us. She does share her photos with the WNFC, but I'll make sure I'll get you her contact information. So when she posts on her stories or on her reels, you'll be able to capture a couple of more things. Okay.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. And I definitely have to thank you for coming on to the show tonight. This was a different show than what most folks would be used to, but I think it's very important to have real conversations about real things. So I thank you so much for coming on. And is there anything that you need to plug, socials, anything like that?
I'll go ahead and do that. Please follow Washington Prodigy at Washington Prodigy on Instagram. You can follow them on Facebook. They also have TikTok if you're a TikTok person. YouTube. You can follow me if you'd like. It's Christiana Monique on social media on Instagram, XIANAMONIQUE. I post regularly about Prodigy, and I will tap in if you're looking to play football. Feel free to reach out to myself, and you can also reach out to the Prodigy Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, and I can get you a game day schedule. I can get you in front of the right people if you're interested in playing ball or if you're just interested to come see the game.
All right. Yeah, and also you can check out at WNFC Football on YouTube as well.
Yes, at WNFC Football as well.
Yeah, they got a channel going too. So
if you put at WNFC anywhere on any of the social media, you'll get trench player insight, transfer portal insight. You'll get to know the different names of the players, the combine that they set up, all of that. You'll be able to immerse yourself in the sport.
We got a couple folks in the chat saying they're trying to go. So if you're in the Maryland area, you can definitely check out the Washington Prodigy team, among other teams in the area, according to what you just said. But definitely check out Washington Prodigy because they are one of the top 5 in the league from what I've seen and what I've heard. So That's why I wanted to focus. I wanted to focus in on a good team. I didn't want to bring somebody on that was like the team never wins and they had like they're like, well, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Every time we go out there, we're losing. No, I wanted to have, at least somebody with some energy and some spunk too.
The first year they went undefeated was last year. We did take a loss, but I think it was necessary. You always have a necessary loss because you have to fix, what's necessary. But we are the Washington Prodigy. And we can show you better than we can tell you.
All right. And you said your next home game is when?
The next home game is May 9th. And then after that is May 16th.
And that's at which location?
Coolidge High School.
Coolidge High School. So May 9th, Coolidge High School. And if they wanted to buy tickets online, would they go to your website?
They go to Washington Prodigy website. And they can buy tickets online.
Website. Okay. All right. Well, I have asked all of the questions that I have. Do you have any questions for myself before we get to completing this purge of the BS? Is what this would have been.
What do you expect to gain from having me on expressing women's football from your viewership? What are you looking for? Because, this could be one of those things where you say, yeah, I had her on and they're like, oh, okay, that was cute. Let's get back to the regularly scheduled program. And do you want to continue even in the off season when we're not playing to get more insight to build that? It's a two-part question.
It is a two-part question, but it's a good question. Basically, what I do here on the show in general is I highlight things that most people don't talk about. So because this fit into that realm of things that people aren't talking about, I wanted to talk about it. But now at this point, I want to be more involved because I want to find out how I can make a connection, even myself with the local teams close to where I live. Maybe I can cover their stuff as well. And really just make it, maybe once a week I do a highlight reel, something like that, just because it's a new conversation and I like having conversations that people aren't having. So that's really what I'm hoping to gain is just that people start talking about something they're not already talking about, that the media is not pushing a narrative on. This is authentic talk. If you're curious, you're authentically curious. It's not because somebody's trying to push a particular propaganda or they're showing you 1,000 ads. It's like, no, I'm interested because I heard some information and it made me want to know more. So that's really what it is. I was really interested and I just figured, instead of doing our normal arguing about whatever the trending topic is or which celebrity person divorced whoever, I didn't want to do that tonight. I wanted to have a real conversation about something that's really going on that people could really have an effect on if they wanted to. So I think that we did that. I think we did a good job too, honestly. Not patting myself on the back, but I think I'm getting better as an interviewer.
Well done. If I had a bouquet of flowers, I'd definitely give it to you. You did it great. That was great. It was.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get out of here because it's getting late. But special shouts to anybody that stopped in the chat. They all seem to just want to watch the show tonight. So hey, I can't ask for more. Just a couple of eyes and a few voices to say the same thing later to somebody. Hey, I saw this thing and they were talking about women's football. And before you know it, we might have some high school girls or whomever actually interested in the sport. We might be able to get it moved into high school and things like that. Because there should be some alternatives for women's sports earlier in life. That's other than gymnastics. Like gymnastics and stuff like that, you get that early. You can do that when you're 5. But when it comes to football and even basketball, to be honest, it doesn't really get serious until mid to late high school. So I'm just glad to know that you guys are doing what you're doing, and I'm
thank you.
Really behind it. I really am supportive. I will do my best to support financially from my location, but I will do the same to try to get in good with the folks that are down here. So with that being said,
you got me anytime you need me.
Yeah,
All
well,
you gotta do
this is
send a
a
note.
part one. This is a part one because it's still earlier in the season right now.
Yes.
So I got to catch you as mid to late season as things are going, and just see if there's been any changes as far as sponsorship or any positives that may have come after we get off of this particular interview. Because I'm interested to see you guys grow. I think it'll be a great thing for sports. That's
truly
just my
appreciate
opinion,
it.
though.
Truly appreciate it. It's always good to gain a new fan. We appreciate it very much.
All right. Well, I'm going to get up out of here, and I'll be back on Thursday. You won't be back on Thursday, but
I won't be back on Thursday.
I'll be back on Thursday. But you'll be on the field Thursday coaching. So
I will be coaching. Yep.
Yes. So I know it's a busy schedule, and I hope that you are able to hold it all together because I see that you're a very busy person. You're on here with me in the car on the way off the field. So much respect to you, much respect to the Washington Prodigy, and just seriously, keep doing what you're doing. But I'm going to get out of here. Anything else that you wanted to plug before we get out of here, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Well, with that being said, y'all make sure y'all come back on Thursday, because if you do not come back on my Thursday night show, then well, hold up. I didn't even say it correctly. I must first thank Coach Floyd, a.k.a. Coach Reds, or Red, from the Washington Prodigy for coming on here, because she didn't have to do that. So we'll start with that. I just wanted to thank you for that. I almost forgot to thank you for that, okay? And
appreciate it.
With that, if I wouldn't have thanked you, that would have been the bullshit. But since, that was supposed to be my closing. That was supposed to be my closing line, but that's the bullshit. But we're not going to do that tonight. We're just going to say peace, and we'll see you guys on Thursday. Out of here.